Everyone, it's the King back with true ghost stories every weekend. So let's get right into it. So, first story. Remember, all these stories are true from our own personal experiences from paranormal entities, demons, ghosts, whatever you want to call them. Different cultures call them different things. So, now, you ever heard of cursed objects? You know, you bring this certain object into your home, maybe a doll, a dresser, a piano, guitar, whatever, but the object itself attracts negative entities to it. And that's what you call a cursed object. And you can Google cursed objects and you'll bring up a slew of cursed objects that have been proven to be cursed. And all cursed mean they just pretty much have dark forces lingering about the objects or dark forces that have taken attachment to that object. So my dad, somebody gave him a bed. And I never liked the bed, but he gave it. This was supposed to be my bed, which I'm okay with that. It's just a bed, but if I had a creepy feeling about the bed, when I just never liked it, it's eerie. And this is when I was about, how old was I? 11 or 12 at the time. And I'm telling you, every night I would hear tapping on the side of the bed, like a fingernail tapping. Not the normal, it's like it was a fingernail and scratching. Tapping and scratching. And I would, me, of course, being that young, for me to even get out that bed, I'm jumping out the bed because I always had that on my mind. If you put your foot on the floor outside the bed, something might grab your foot. So I always had that on my mind. So I would jump out the bed, run in there, and I would have mama come in there and lay down to me until I fell asleep. I know that I was terrified of that bed. And so it was always scratching. We had the fingernail tapping, and that would start a certain time. It would be nighttime, and you hear this constant tapping like a fingernail, then you hear scratches. But we know what scratches sound like, and that would definitely scratches. So, and my mom, she didn't believe me a lot. They always blamed. Of course, I said this in my other story that we watch scary movies, and scary movies bring paranoia, and it can cause you to think something's happening, it's not, or hearing something and you're not hearing anything. But thank God she heard the same tapping and scratching that night, because I immediately, she kind of, just to calm me down, and later, I was listening, and it started, and I immediately had woke her up, and I said, "Do you hear that?" And she was like, "What?" And I just listen, and sure enough, heard the tapping and the scratching, and it's always the tapping first, the fingernail, like a long fingernail. And then you hear scratches. So I don't know, it's just like a reoccurring incident. But that was really creepy, and that actually happened to me. I don't know if anything like that happened to you, leave a comment right now. I want to hear about it. So, second thing, that didn't happen to me with my sister. We lived in the same house, and I'm telling you, that place was definitely eerie and creepy and haunted. Definitely. Now, my sister, one day, I remember we were talking, and she asked me, have anything strange ever happened in the house? And I was trying to find out first from her, because we didn't tell each other. And I'm like, let me hear what you have to say first. So she told me that she was in a room, laying on, you lay face down on your bed, and she was, I don't know what she was doing on the bed. I think she was laying there trying to take a nap. She said she felt somebody sit down on the bed, like the bed, like how somebody feels when they come in your room, sit on the bed. And she said, she was trying to turn around and see who it was. She couldn't move. She said she just froze on the bed. And whatever it was moving on the bed, and just sat down and started moving. And then eventually she was able to move. She was around the room, then go back in the room for a while. So, and that's what you would call sleep paralysis. What happened, a lot of people call that. You can Google that too and check it out. Check out what people experience have been with that. And it really irritated me, because I'm like, I don't want to hear about this. After all this stuff happening to everybody in this house, And it was on my mind the whole time. Maybe to the point where I didn't want to go in her room or even be in the house, because if something can make her freeze up on the bed, what else can it do? What they can do. So that was really creepy experience she told me having her. I know she wouldn't lie about that. The third story I'm going to share with you guys before I close this out. This is my older sister. My older sister, she never slept in her room. And I guess that's fine with her. She always made her bed on the couch in the living room by the TV. And unfortunately for her, the kitchen, where if you go back and you can check out my ghost story about the pantry whispers in the kitchen. And the kitchen is where a lot of the activity was happening, the voice, for the whispers and voices. So she experienced this herself. Now, she came in my room, shoved me awake. I mean, I'm talking about shoved me awake. And I'm looking at her like she's crazy. And she said, "Hey, will you come in here and just sit in the living room? I'm scared. I heard something in the kitchen talking." And she didn't say someone, she said something. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to go in there. So, being me, you always get that confidence, like, I'm with someone, so it might not be as bad. And mom and daddy in the other room, so let's go ahead and do it. So I go ahead, went there with her, and of course, I'm automatically just paranoid and scared at the same time. So walking into the living room, and my sister's terrified. So whatever she heard, I had already heard. It's like that verified my experiences too, because my sisters were having issues too in the house with entities and things like that. So we in the living room, right? And what I did, I just laid on the floor, and my sister, eyes wide open, she looking around. I laid there and I dozed off. I can't believe I actually dozed off in this, I dozed off only to wake up to my name being whispered, a calling of my name whispering like. And I'm like, oh my God, because I had to turn around and see who was doing it. Now it was my sister doing it because she wanted to get my attention to look at the door. But imagine your name being called and you don't know what's calling it, and you don't want to turn around and see what's calling it because you don't want to have a heart attack. If you turn around and see something standing there, some ghoul looking thing or demonic, whatever, there might be a chance at my young age I'm having a heart attack. So turn around, my sister's talking about, look at the door. I look at the door is open. This door was locked from the inside, shut. And that door, both of us apparently dozed off because, the door was open, and nobody broke in. The screen door was still locked, but something opened that door. And of course, me being, I always go back to Usain Bolt when I'm scared and frantic, really how fast he runs. I Usain Bolt and jump right in the middle of my mom and daddy bed. Right in the middle of the bed. This disrupted everybody, and I didn't care. So my dad thought somebody broke in, so he goes to the house looking for a so-called intruder. And he was flabbergasted because no one was there. And we already knew that. We knew no one was there. We was up. And so that was the experience in that place. So thank God we moved, and thank God that I'm telling you that bed. And I talked to my sisters about it years later, and I said, remember when that bed came into the house and all that stuff started happening? Because I had to go back and I said, I think that bed had something attached to it, or whatever. And but I want you guys right now to Google cursed objects and check out how the cursed objects can bring all kind of malice and calamity into a home. From the object itself, bringing in the dark entities with it. So, that said, I hope you enjoyed the true ghost stories from the King. And if you did, click like and definitely click subscribe. And check out the playlist. I have more ghost stories out the playlist And I'll just leave the playlist in the top part of this video. You click that little exclamation mark, you see the playlist. You can listen to all the rest of the stories if you missed it. So with that, thank you for listening. And I'll be talking to you guys later.